All right, next in our series of stops along the John Hunt Morgan Heritage Trail. And today I'm actually doing, and I've done this route before, it's one of the alternate routes from the guidebook that I've referenced in previous videos. This one is taking Richard Curd Morgan, his path down towards, let's see, from Williamsburg to Bethel over towards Georgetown down towards Ripley, and then he'll head to the northeast to rejoin Morgan's main column, getting close to kind of Locust Grove area. Actually joins up before that. But this is one of the stops along the way. This is not directly related to the Morgan story, but we're at the Clover Cemetery. We got a little overkill here with a bunch of American flags. I'll get to that in just a second. But here is State Route 133. Williamsburg is to our right, and we're heading down to Bethel to our left, and we'll be going down that direction after this video. But we're at the Clover Cemetery, a little small cemetery here right along the road, a little hamlet of Clover, such as it is today. There are numerous Civil War guys in this particular cemetery, which is kind of cool. Ezra Chatterton, and there was another gentleman with another interesting name. Lycurgus Holmes, again marked with a GAR marker there. But there are a lot of GAR markers here within this particular cemetery. But why we're here and why all these flags are here, this is actually the gravesite of a Medal of Honor recipient during the Civil War. John Wageman. Now, he's German ancestry, so really Johann Wagaman would probably be more accurate. But his name was anglicized. He was born in 1841. He was a private in the 60th Ohio Volunteer Infantry Regiment, and he earned his Medal of Honor for actions outside of Petersburg, Virginia on June 17th of 1864. The citation would read, "Remained with the command after being severely wounded until he had fired all the cartridges in his possession when he had to be carried from the field." So he was severely wounded, but continued in the fight outside of Petersburg there as a member of the 60th Ohio Volunteer Infantry. A lot of the 60th Ohio came from this part of the state. And so there are a lot of 60th Ohio guys, particularly the company that John was in, Company I, particularly that company in this area. But here we go. We just see more GAR markers all over the place, which is kind of cool. I have to do a little research here. Geez, there's another one over there. They're just all over. And so just one of those stops along the trail that if you have this book, that you can kind of pick and choose where you want to stop along the way. Again, we're going to follow Richard Morgan. He is the commander of the 14th Kentucky Cavalry. That's CSA. It's very unclear whether the 14th was a full regiment at the time of the Great Raid. There's some sources that kind of contradict that a little bit, that may or may not be a full regiment fully recruited by the time the raid happens. So it may just be a shell of a regiment. But we're going to follow Dick as he heads down towards Ripley, Ohio. According to the source book, and I would have to agree, not really certain why he went so many miles away from the main column. Ripley was a hotbed of secessionism. It had been threatened by the Southern-leaning folks prior to the war and during the war to burn it down. A lot of abolitionism there. You've got the John Parker home. He was a freed slave. He had earned his own keep by he was trained to be a blacksmith, and had actually earned enough money to buy his own freedom, moves to Ripley. His house directly looks over the Ohio River towards Kentucky. He was conductor on the Underground Railroad. And then also he would go himself into Kentucky to help slaves escape, which, considering that he was a black man, that was very ballsy. You also have, overlooking the town of Ripley, the John Rankin House. Ironically, Rankin's son is a captain, I think I have that correct, in the 7th Ohio Cavalry, which is chasing after Morgan. I believe that's correct. I know Rankin is, I know he's an officer. I know he's an officer in the 7th Ohio, and I think he's part of the group that's chasing after Morgan. Not all the 7th Ohio is chasing after Morgan. Some of them are down in central Kentucky refitting and refurbishing after they had participated in the Sanders raid in June of 1863. But another potential reason to go to Ripley is to look for a crossing. But I don't think that's probably the reason why Morgan went in that direction. It may have been just simply a feint to confuse the pursuing Union forces. Because again, the main column is several miles away. It's not going to get to Ripley in an expeditious manner if there was a ford there that Dick Morgan was going to scout out. Anyway, so that's our videos. The first video today. We'll get these things posted kind of week by week, but we'll shoot maybe one or two more from this particular trip. Thank you.